Well, hi everybody. I think let's start if we introduce ourselves and how we discovered this crypto world and I think amazing crypto world, right?
Awesome. Um, Hi, my name is Lorenzo de Leo. I've been in technology and company building for, I would say, 15 plus years at this point. I work with a lot of technology, not only blockchain. We run a company builder based out of Miami. We build startups, tech-based startups, and we're always being tech agnostic, meaning whatever technology we want to use, depending on the application, we're going to go for it. But last year, what happened is that we started a project with the Algorand Foundation, which is one of the major blockchain out there, and that was the perfect excuse to somehow pivot the direction of the company more into Web3 and blockchain. So now specifically, I run the accelerators for Algorand, or Web3 accelerator, and so basically I'm constantly exposed to the new projects, the new problems that are being attacked, the new solutions. So I'm kind of like in the front line of the Web 3.0 space.
Awesome. César?
Yes, thank you, David. Thank you, Volcano. It's really a pleasure to be here with everybody. I am a founder and advisor in innovation, business transformation, and Web3. My background is in telecommunications, technology, consumer electronics, and cloud services. And that background allowed me to understand the concept of networks, the concept of distributed layers. And back in 2014, I started going into learning about this technology, blockchain. And then when I really make a big dip into the technology was in 2016, helping one of our European customers in a go-to-market. That's a blockchain project, go-to-market here for the Americas and then worldwide. So that was very, very good experience. And then after that, I founded a Web3 company where we've been building applications and helping to build layer one technologies, proof of concept with enterprises. Nowadays, we are focusing NFTs and some other cool trends like DeFi that we hope we are going to talk here.
Thanks. Hello, everybody. I'm Jon Tirmandi. I'm from a company called Normative. I'm one of the founders there. And I'm like these guys, I'm also very technology agnostic. I've been in the technology space for a long time. And I got into the blockchain space pretty early, like 2010. Because I happened to know somebody was one of my clients that was part of the original blockchain Bitcoin posse that passed us Satoshi's paper, and we read the paper, and I was drawn in. We started to mine Bitcoins like really early, but then we stopped. I'm actually a cautionary tale for crypto because I did all of the wrong things to become a crypto billionaire. I did the opposite of what you should do. So I stopped mining Bitcoin in 2011, but in 2014 we worked with Blockstream on helping them develop their 10-year strategy for what they were about to do, and then I've been involved in so many applications of blockchain technology over the years, everything from smart contracts to healthcare applications, mostly on the strategic side as opposed to on the building side, but really helping companies and entrepreneurs figure out how they should establish their business models, what the business model should look like, and how they should think about testing, validating, and going to market. And so that's about it.
Perfect, John. Well, and for me, I'm the CEO for Invesgo. This is a fintech company here in Guatemala. We have two amazing products. The first one is a super app that the name is Abra. We have you can buy crypto there with like a 90 different cryptos. You can stake also cryptos. You can borrow from $100,000 to $500,000 in minutes in a smart contract, and you can also send money using the system in 150 countries in just 1 second, no fees. Amazing. And the second one is that we are going to release our own car the first MasterCard crypto card in Central America, this one. So, and also you will have the chance to receive 3% cashback, and this cashback you can buy more different cryptos. Now we have operations in Guatemala, El Salvador, Dominican Republic, and Peru, and growing. So, perfect. So we're going to talk about blockchain and how to build things on blockchain, right? So maybe, is there any newbie about blockchain here, or, yeah, perfect. Maybe John, maybe you can start talking about what is blockchain in simple words. And
Sure. I think there's two ways to kind of think about like what blockchain is and then what the potential of blockchain is. Let's think about the technology. The blockchain is a database, but the database structure is different than a traditional database. So in a traditional database, you have rows and tables. They tend to be centralized, so you have typically one or a few people that can alter the database. Whereas in a blockchain, data is stored in blocks, and it's stored sequentially over time and chained together, hence the term blockchain. And it's distributed, which means that the only way that data can be added to the blockchain is via consensus on the public network. And that's really the true innovation in blockchain technology, is that you require, in a traditional database, you require a trusted third party to manage your data. In a blockchain, you don't require a trusted third party to manage your data. You have consensus and security from the network. And the more network nodes you have, the more people that are on a blockchain, the more security and trust that you have. And so as technologies like Bitcoin and the Bitcoin blockchain get bigger and bigger, they just become more and more secure, which is awesome. When I think about what the potential of blockchain is, I get really excited. I was just at the talk previous to this, they were talking about Bitcoin, and the speaker spoke about it being akin to 1995 and the internet, and I totally agree with that. I think that there's been a lot of hype around crypto and DeFi and all of these things, but the technology and the infrastructure is just being pulled together. Like we're really very much at the beginning of what is possible. And as more and more of our lives become intertwined with the digital world, we start to leave a trace of our digital identity on the internet. And I think that blockchain there's potentially this amazing, could provide this amazing power to the individual over the privacy of their own data. And so when I start to think about what the use cases are, obviously there's like smart contracts and decentralized finance and crypto, but then also, you start to think about things like you can control your health data, or you can control your social data, or you can control your copyright data, or you can, there's all these amazing things that are just on the cusp of coming. And so that's what gets me excited about blockchain.
awesome. So as you see, blockchain is not only about Bitcoin and thinking in buying the dip and selling. Blockchain is in almost everything. So we are going to discuss different ways of how the blockchain is having a boost here in Latin America and also in the world. So maybe Lorenzo, maybe you can explain us more about how the blockchain is involved in education, for example.
Let me actually start giving you an example of how I don't think that blockchain should be used specifically in education. Just to show you that on one hand, we're blockchain maximalists, meaning we all believe that blockchain is changing the world and is the next big thing. Although I also want to kind of like keep a more prudent position in saying, as John was saying, this is still the beginning, so we still have to figure out exactly what makes sense on the blockchain without necessarily saying that if you're not on blockchain, it doesn't make any sense. So let me give you an example of something that actually I received a few applications at our accelerators of projects that wanted to apply blockchain in education. And the idea was, why don't we create a token, a crypto, that students can earn as they advance throughout, for example, a course, right? So it's all based on micro content, micro tasks, micro whatever, meaning you study for 15 minutes, then you take a test. If you pass the test, boom, you get a token, right? So it's a way of using blockchain, and specifically crypto in this case, as an incentive. And I wanted to bring it up as an example because I don't know, honestly, if this is going to be successful or not. I'm not saying that it won't. I think my perspective is I don't think that that's the right way of using the blockchain. You know, by creating an artificial token that is used to incentivize people to do something that should be incentivized by other things. Like you study because you want to become a better person, not because you earn a token that you can then trade, you know, for maybe some speculation. So again, like I'm not saying that that's wrong, that's right. I'm saying I think that that is not necessarily the right way of thinking in terms of blockchain, you know, kind of like building on the hype of tokens that go like this. There are other ways of using blockchain in education. For example, a little bit, you know, adding to what John was saying, like it might make sense to build a platform based on the blockchain where you share certificates, diplomas. Why? Because then that database doesn't belong to any organization specifically. It's your title, it's your diploma, it stays there, and anybody in the world, for example, when you apply for a job, you could just check on the blockchain, is it true that Lorenzo went to this school and successfully graduated? Yes or no? We don't necessarily depending on somebody else to certify that. It's there, it's public, it's always available. That's the way of thinking. I don't think it's super easy to implement it, not because of the technology, but because you need a lot of people to agree on using that shared system. So it's more a problem of adoption, if you want. But the technology definitely allows you to do that, right? I think that education is a huge opportunity, specifically in Latin America. I think I mentioned it a couple of days ago on another panel. You know, I think that we're at the beginning, as John was saying. So if somebody says, I'm an expert of blockchain, right, it's impossible, right? We are all like imposters here. We don't know anything, right? We just know a little bit. So the opportunity in education is actually learning blockchain, right? And learning how to use blockchain. And I think that the exciting thing, the reason why I wanted to be full-time in blockchain is because I think that this is a unique opportunity. We're kind of like starting over, right? Like there are people, communities, schools, locations where like ecosystems where they know a lot about the technology, so they have a competitive advantage. If you now want to, you know, be competitive, it's hard. With blockchain, we're all starting at the same level. And so this is a huge opportunity for regions like Latin America or any emerging country, if you want, where, you know, you've always felt that you were following the trends of more advanced or more developed regions. Well, now we are starting at the same level. So if you look, for example, at the companies that we accelerate, you know, we have companies from Eastern Europe, from Africa, from India, from Latin America, right? And it's no surprise that there is no US dominance or Silicon Valley dominance. It's just because we're all starting. So we do have a chance to compete globally because we all know / don't know as much as the other people, right? So in that case, I think that, you know, I should bet on education and blockchain-related education as, you know, a way to grow as an ecosystem.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. I don't know if you know, guys, that here, at least in the Francisco Marroquín University, is the first time that one of the universities giving blockchain or crypto class. So that's amazing because it's the first step, right? Cesar, when we think about mobiles, there is a big opportunity in sending money, remittances, payments with crypto. We saw another bank saying that you can send money to the ATM directly with an SMS, but crypto, you can send the money to all countries. So what do you think about remittances and payments as a solution in blockchain?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I think we all understand how big is the penetration of cell phones and smartphones. It's no doubt that there are more cell phones than credit cards. It's clear that there are more cell phones and smartphones than banks. I mean, that a bank's accounts. There is even more cell phones and smartphones than toothbrush. So everybody has a cell phone and a smartphone, and it's kind of the only objects that if you left home and you don't have it, you come back, even if you are going to be late. So there is a huge battle around the world for owning the wallet of the user inside that phone. So the smartphones were key during the Web 2, which is the web where we all become writers. You know, we were able to produce content, not only read content, during the Web 2 and the social networks and all that. And the smartphones are going to be key for this era that is starting now, that is the Web 3. So back to this battle with the wallet, and we've been listening about it in different sessions here. Companies from the banks, they want to be in your phone. There's fintech companies, they want the wallet in your phone. And they are doing a lot of work on that. But now there are some, they own the consumer electronics, the one that manufacture the smartphones, they also want their wallet in their phone. The operational system, they want the wallet on the phone. So the battle is huge. Companies from Web 2, they are doing it now with both Web 2 methodologies, but there are companies from Web 3, which are native Web 3, native blockchain, and they are putting that wallet inside the consumer. And that's very beneficial for mainly today in countries like our countries that are more in developing stage where the bank penetration is lower. Because if you have a credit card, you have a bank account and it works, you don't care. But if you don't have access, you care. And then if you see that you can have access to a lower cost within the transactions, so you care even more. So definitely that's a big space for payments. That's a big space from remittances. Salvador, which is a country near here, they already have the Bitcoin as a money for the country legally. The main reason, I don't know if you all know that, but the main reason why this happened is because the remittance business. Because there is at least 16% of the money that people send to the people that live in Salvador that stayed in the intermediary hands. When they do it directly via blockchain, via Web3, so that 60% can become much smaller. Let's say 1%, 2%, I don't know, 4% maybe in some cases. That difference, that all that money goes into the economy because that money goes into the people that receive the remittances, and remittances is huge in the Producto Bruto del país. So that's really a big opportunities for payments and a big opportunities for remittances.
Yeah, and that's awesome. Yesterday I came from Argentina, and there's a huge business case in that part when you provide different services, and most of the time you receive your salary in crypto. So what they do is they receive crypto, they go to the market, they sell the crypto, and they receive pesos in cash. So it's so much better the rate that they are receiving right now with crypto dollars compared to the bank dollar pesos. So I think that's amazing. And also because of the pandemic, these kind of things getting involved in NFTs and the metaverse, do you think blockchain could be doing something in the e-commerce, John?
So as it relates to e-commerce and NFTs, we're already seeing a lot of brands, Nike, Lamborghini, Prada, Gucci, they're minting their NFTs. You're seeing luxury homes that are being sold with their digital twins as NFTs. I think it's presumable. I think you can see a future where hello.
What did it do?
I don't know. I think I broke something. I think you can see a future where when you buy something, a luxury item, when you buy something that like a Rolex or something you want to show off with, I think you can see a future where you're also buying the NFT. And I think you can also see a future where where when there is, as the virtual worlds become more immersive, as you're able to move your NFTs around, I think it's possible for you to take an avatar, take your Rolex or your Range Rover or whatever that you bought or that you want to own, and bring it into your virtual life as well. I think I see that as a possibility. Now the pricing of that and the hype around it, again, I think it's early. I think a lot of people are rushing in and pushing up the prices. Like, I personally don't own a Bored Ape or see the utility of it. But I get it. I understand. I also see, like, from an event perspective, how minting an NFT as part of an event can connect you to a community, and through that community you can get more perks, and how that could be valuable for brands. And so I think that we're definitely going to see movement towards that space. And then as it relates to Web3 and virtual property, I also see brands going into the virtual property space. I think they're mostly going there right now to protect their trademarks as opposed to going and setting up experiences. I don't think that they know what to do with, like, the Web3 experiences yet, like in the virtual worlds. I think they're mostly going and putting a stamp down and saying, hey, we're just going to spend, I don't know, $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 to buy a piece of land and put our logo on it, and then we're going to wait and see what happens. And I think it's a pretty low risk way of protecting their trademarks. But we'll see what happens there.
Perfect. Awesome. When you think that you want to apply blockchain in your company, or maybe you want to start a company directly involving blockchain, what do you think we need to know about this technology?
About the technology or about the space, I would say I would make it like broader. Right now there are kind of like two classes of startups, if you want, right? Just to simplify, tech-based startups and blockchain-based startups. Right? They're still considered like two different beasts, if you want, in the sense that, for example, even from a venture capital perspective, they're treated differently. Like, if you're building a company in blockchain, maybe the profile of investors that you will reach out to is different. It's still kind of like fragmented or separated. I hope it's going to change. I hope at some point we're just going to think in terms of, like, building companies. It doesn't really care if you're using blockchain or not. Like, I hope that let's say that the focus is going to be on the value proposition and not on the technology. But right now you have to be aware of that. So you're building on the blockchain. Okay, so it's a different community. The way you sell your products, you market your products might be different. The channels that you're using might be different, right? For example, it's way more based on word of mouth, for example, or like chatting tools like Telegram or Discord, right? Rather than putting a billboard on a bus station, unless you're Abra, right? You guys can do that, but a startup that is starting now in blockchain, well, you're still like in a niche, right? You have to be aware of that. I'm not saying that that niche is ugly. I'm not saying that it's too small. Absolutely. But you need to understand kind of like the ecosystem in which you are playing. On the flip side, right, this is kind of like specific to blockchain companies. On the flip side, I also encourage people to understand that forgetting about the blockchain piece, you're still building a company. So you can't afford to just focus on technology only, right? Focus on building like a token or a smart contract, impress the world with your technology. At the end of the day, you still need to focus on the problem, solve the problem, validate it, build a team, raise money. That hasn't changed. And I'm saying this because it happens a lot. In many cases, blockchain companies are funded by technologists. Why? Because they have a passion for the technology, they understand the new trends, and they have the ability to quickly build a product. Well, you might not be building a product. Maybe what you have is a toy. A product is something that has value, right? So don't forget that in order to be successful, it's a little bit about the technology, but most of the value is on the business, on the user acquisition, right? On the growth. That hasn't changed. Blockchain is not fixing that for you. Like, you still need to learn and do it, right?
And also, this is for everybody. When we think about talent, it's very difficult to find talent in Web3, right? Most of the time, all of us, when we think, okay, I'm going to build something in blockchain, we don't know where to begin, right? So what do you think about finding this amazing talent, or maybe also could be another boost for Latin America to have talents here, right? Depths. And
I'll let them answer, but I just want to say something. That's exactly the point. It's an opportunity rather than a problem, right? If there is demand and people are looking for talent, you can't find the talent, but create that. In our case, we started to turn down applications in our accelerator because maybe the idea was good, the founders were good, but they didn't have the technical talent, so they don't qualify. We cannot, let you into the accelerator if you don't have the resources to take advantage of the program. But the result of that was, hey, why don't we create a platform where we can train, certify talent to then match them with projects, right? And this is what we're building now. So just quickly, I wanted to say, it's hard to find talent, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, especially in Latin America, where the basic skills are there. It's just a matter of learning, the blockchain piece.
Yeah, I agree. It's a huge opportunity for everyone. You can go and study, but I can tell you it's going to be a step curve. So my recommendation for anybody is go and learn by doing. So find what are you passionate about and go and connect with communities that are already working on it. Even if you are, a young person that just finished university, or you are already an executive with many years and you want to be part of the Web3, or you are a founder, that's how it works now. You need to be part of a community, and then that community needs to have a clear use case, because if not, we are building technology for building technology, and it doesn't make sense. It has to be a clear utility. And then if you have your own company, or you have your own, or you are the person and you want to do it yourself, start experimenting. Don't be afraid. The best way to learn is by doing and by making mistakes and working with other people that are inspired by the same passion, the same purpose as you are. So that's my recommendation. Jump into it, start learning by doing. Because if you want to watch all the content in YouTube or go to many courses at the universities, the technology has a step curve. And at the end, it's not about the technology. It's about what is the problem that you want to solve. And definitely, I believe the technology is the one, or is one of the technologies that are going to create the next internet. You say we are like in 97, 98 in the Web 1. We have the Web 1, we have the Web 2, now we are creating the Web 3. We are just starting, and this technology is going to impact everybody, every business. So the questions we all should be asking now is how blockchain is going to impact my company, how blockchain is going to impact myself, and find answers, joining communities and projects that are many around the world.
Well, on the I don't have anything more to add. I think that you guys totally covered the talent piece. I think that, when it comes to building something, often people are like, oh, okay, I got to start to write code. And I think that that's the very last step that you kind of, yes, you want to experiment and write code, and I get it. But I think there's a lot of steps that you have to do before that. And you don't have to be a crypto expert to get there, although you have to find them, to your point. And so, the clear use case, really understanding the technology and determining whether you actually need a blockchain or not. There's lots of things that you can do without a blockchain that people think are blockchain use cases. And then the talent pieces, I think the talent's going to resolve itself over time. As the technology becomes more adopted, it will resolve itself.
If I can add something, I was there during the second wave of the industry. So it's been 3 waves. You've been in 3 of them. I've been in 2. And now we are in what we said is the bear market. That's the name that the people use. It's my second bear market. The difference I see now from my previous bear market is that I see much more people involved. They are much more smarter. They are much more talented. And they are building. When some people is boring because the Bitcoin is low or the Ethereum, they are building application and they are making it happen, and the next way is going to be only bigger. That's how I see it.
Perfect. So, as you see, blockchain is in everywhere. We can see it in metaverse, NFTs, DeFi. We didn't have time to speak about NFT, the DeFi part, but it's amazing all these kind of things that is happening in that part. So I don't know how many Abra users do we have here? Wow, a lot. Awesome. For $5 in Satoshis, what is going to happen tomorrow in the ecosystem in the blockchain? So somebody. Perfect, awesome. So thanks to everybody. I'm gonna be around. If you want to receive $5 in Satoshi for new users, come to me and I can give you the $5. So thank you everybody for your knowledge to be here. So thanks.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Give them a round of applause.